There is nothing to worry about. You're gonna be just fine.
You'd be surprised at the things you find when you go looking.
God, it knows I'm here.
Clear your minds. It knows what scares you. It has from the very beginning.
I'm plunging headfirst into some kind of black void of sheer, utter madness.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
It is entitled Naturan de Manto, roughly translated Book of the Dead.
You're gonna die up there.
I've got to return some videotapes.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, Chris! Welcome to In the Veins.
Welcome to In the Veins. This is season 2, episode 1. We've got a year of these things on the books.
A full year of episodes, which is awesome. And this is the first episode of the new year.
Yeah.
Of our going. I'm so.
And
so
since
pumped.
our very first episode was the original Evil Dead,
Yes,
this episode will be
Evil Dead 2: Dead by Dawn.
this is it's a requel, it's a remake, it's sort of a sequel, it's a bunch of different things. People call it different things. If you
Right.
line them up right, you can play the first one right into this and it turns into like a 3-hour movie that works, but you just got to like trim the first part of this one off.
Hey, you could do the same thing with the third one at the end.
Yeah, you could run them all together. In fact, I think it'd be cool to edit them all together and just watch them as one big thing.
Yeah.
But
I would love to have the scenes that are paralleled, like like on side-by-side basis on the screen while those are happening. Like,
I mean, there are little things that don't work. I had it in mind when I was on this watch of it.
yeah.
Like, he drives back out and sees the bridge torn up. Well, he's already done that. So when he acts surprised, if you were watching it as one continuous.
Yeah.
Anyway, it would work enough.
I think it works. It works especially in the fact of like if you're watching all of them at once,
Mm-hmm.
it's fun to kind of like, okay, finish one movie, like bathroom break, get fresh snacks, get a fresh drink, start
yeah.
the next movie, and it's just sort of a recap to kind of just get you back in the vibe.
Yeah, and it kind of is, it would be a cool story, the first part being the original.
Yeah.
And then cut that little rehash out of the beginning and just roll right into now Ash is alone with the demons
Sure.
and, have this movie. But this is where we get Ash. Like, this is where Ash was
Yes.
really born.
This is where Ash becomes Ash.
Yeah.
And it stops being about like I'm fighting because I don't have a choice.
Yeah.
I'm struggling to stay alive, and you get that attitude of like, oh, you dirty so and so. Like I am doing this because I want to fight you.
Oh, yeah.
And like that.
You get that first
anger,
moment of him looking at a demon and calling them out.
that indignation of like,
Yeah.
and it's the fear is gone, at least any healthy amount of it. And now it's just, I know what your game is, and I'm going to meet you on the battlefield.
Which, if you saw it as a sequel, then it's the progression from the more, scary cat Ash from the first one. If you don't see it as a sequel, then this is just who Ash is, because the second he's confronted with his girlfriend possessed, he cuts her damn head off. Like, it's not...
Well, I mean...
It's not restrain her and try to find a way to save her. It's, she's leaping at me, her eyes are white, screw this, there's a shovel.
I mean, I feel like there's ways to read that bit of the beginning where it's like, he just grabbed whatever was at hand, it happened to be a shovel, and just swung in self-defense, and it just, lucky shot, ended up cutting her head off.
Yeah. I'm still saying that his inborn reflexes are such that he can chop a head off with a shovel without thinking about it.
Absolutely. I'm not gonna. I mean, he's the chosen one. That's what this movie gives us. Is that this is what the purpose of him being there. You
even get that moment, and we're obviously going to go through it all. But I was thinking about it in comparison to Ash versus the Evil Dead, which I just love dearly. But there's when he finally goes to the tool shed and suits up,
right?
You get the shot of Annie,
yes,
looking at him kind of like, God, like she's impressed by him now, like because he straps the shit on, he's got the chainsaw hand, he hooks it in and revs it.
Yeah,
she's like, my, and it's kind of in the very first episode of Ash versus the Evil Dead. What is the female lead's name?
Yeah,
what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
Filthy but fine, he keeps saying.
Yeah.
But she thinks he's a joke up until the point that they're in his trailer and a Deadite appears, and all of a sudden he like snaps into ass kicking mode,
Yes.
and she has the same reaction to him. Like,
And it's funny because it is like Ash is it's like you could say he snaps into ass kicking mode, but that's kind of like the mode he's already in. It's just it finds its purpose.
yeah, it's under there. It's just
under there, yes.
on top of that, until the ass kicking is necessary, is lounge singer. Like
Sleazy lounge singer.
like big lapels, polyester,
Yes.
big gold rings type
Well,
of
and
dude.
again, we get a funny parallel to that moment. I feel like in Army of Darkness when he finally completes the Robo Hand
Yeah.
and crushes the wine gauntlet, and the blacksmith and the love interest in that are standing there going like, oh, like
Yeah. And
there's
again
this-
at the end when he kills the Deadite and S-Mart, and then hail to
Yes.
the king, baby.
he's fucking Ash. Like,
Yeah,
and this
when-
is like you said, like this is Ash being Ash. He goes from Ash Lee to Ash.
Yeah, he
in this movie.
discovers his ashness.
Yes, it's Ashtitude.
There's also like shit talking his severed hand. You know?
Like, the whole thing with the severed hand, like trying to laugh at the hand that he just stabbed a knife through.
Oh,
like
yeah.
laughing through the pain, like
Yeah.
crying because it
Yeah.
hurts.
I fucking
Like,
got
that's-
you. You know?
Right, man. Yes. Well, let's okay. So
Hey, let's
get
do
through
it.
some
Yeah, yeah.
details. Let's get through some
Okay.
details. March 13th, 1987. Yes, that was a Friday the 13th. Directed by Sam Raimi, written by Sam Raimi and Scott Spiegel, starring Bruce Campbell as Ash. Who else could it be? Sarah Berry as Annie, Dan Hicks as Jake, Wesley DePava as Bobby Joe, Richard Domier as Ed, Denise Bixler as Linda, and we've got some little appearances. Ted Raimi is the possessed Henrietta.
Yep.
Lou Hancock is the living Henrietta, and John Peaks as the voice of Professor Nobi on the reel to reel. Budget of about $3.6 million. Gross just a little above $5.9 million. So not a huge success in the theaters, but again, like we said with the first Evil Dead, like we keep saying, this is made for the video VHS market, and a lot more of its money is going to come from that. I did look it up too. Like, this is 1987. Like, Lethal Weapon came out this year. Nightmare 3 Dream Warriors was in the theater still when this came out.
Yeah.
Like, RoboCop came out in 87. Like, this did,
That's
I
a
think,
rough year.
I think it was like 114th or something for the year.
Yeah.
It did fairly well when it came out. It was in the top 20 when it the weekend it released, but that's just you're just not gonna you're going up against too much.
Well, yeah, it exists because of Stephen King, you know.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
because he loved the first one, and when he found out they couldn't get funding for this one because they had like their production company had a woman working for them that they had to like let go, or she was done with her contract or something. She went to work on Maximum Overdrive that King was directing,
Yes.
and it came up that she had been working with Raimi and them trying to get funding for Evil Dead 2, and he's like, what? They can't get money for Evil Dead 2? And he calls Dino De Laurentiis, is like, hey, you should fund Evil Dead 2.
And Dino was more than happy to, because the first Evil Dead, released as La Casa in Italy, was like an enormous success.
In Italy. Yeah.
What did I
yeah.
say? Yes, in Italy.
No, yeah, but I mean, yeah, he was all about the overseas numbers.
Yeah. And so, but because of, there's some kind of thing where like you couldn't release it under De Laurentiis Entertainment because of like the ratings or something like that. That's why we get that funky Rosebud Releasing Corporation title right at the front. That was the fake releasing company that it was released under to get around contractual obligations.
Well, and they didn't have the rights to the first Evil Dead either. That's why we get the sort of requel thing. Like they couldn't use any of the original footage because that was New Line.
I did not. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Interestingly enough, so the first Evil Dead released as La Casa in Italy. Evil Dead 2 released as La Casa 2. Not a lot of imagination there. And then the Italians decided they weren't done with the series. There's a film from 88 called Ghost House, released as La Casa 3. Witchery in 89 released as La Casa 4.
Yeah.
Beyond Darkness in 90 released as La Casa 5. And then this is my favorite. La Casa 6, House 2, The Second Story, literally came out the same year as Evil Dead 2 and outperformed it. And then La Casa 7 was House 3, The Terror Show. So it's tremendous. I don't know. I don't know how they could possibly bring any kind of connection with those movies, especially with like Evil Dead 2, like providing this like sum up of the last 15 minutes of Evil Dead 1.
They just, when they can just use a name, they will. You just watched all of the
This is true.
Silent Night, Deadly Nights.
This is true.
At least half of those, they're just using the name.
This is absolutely true.
I mean, hell, I saw. Oh God, there's The Haunting in Connecticut, which did really well.
Right. Yes. And then they did sequels to that were not connected at all.
No, but it was called, like, one of them was called Haunting in Connecticut, like Haunting in Connecticut 2, A Haunting in Georgia. Like, like seriously, it had nothing to do with it. It was set in like the fucking bayou, but they called it A Haunting in Connecticut.
And you can tell that's one of those instances where they're like, we've got a script. We believe in this script. It's also a haunted house movie. Haunting in Connecticut did well. Let's just throw that onto the title, and then maybe we'll get that audience to come and see it.
Absolutely.
I pooped my pants because I'm a movie producer. You know what I mean? Like, intellectual sophistication does not please produce our movies.
Yeah, just give us the money.
Just give us the money. You can name it whatever you want. I don't care. Yeah. Hey, we're making a Care Bears sequel now.
Oh, and they said Dino De Laurentiis, I guess. So there is a movie studio in Wilmington, North Carolina.
Okay.
I've done the tour there a long time ago. It's a cool little place, but I guess maybe that is or was Dino De Laurentiis' studio. He offered it to them to shoot the movie, but they didn't want to be under his thumb while they were doing it.
Studio interference kind of messed with Sam Raimi's movie that he made in the middle of these two.
Yeah.
And
in fact, they only came back to the Evil Dead stuff because they weren't having success elsewhere.
They didn't want to shoot it. Instead, they shot at that high school that was like 3 hours away from De Laurentiis.
This honestly has been a daydream of mine for a long time now, to own like an old school and turn it into a movie studio.
Yeah,
because they did the same thing for Home Alone. They shot Home Alone at an empty high school in Chicago, or on the outskirts of Chicago, and most of the interiors for the house and stuff were built in the gym. Wow. And the classrooms became offices and effect shops and prop rooms and stuff. Huh. And they did the same thing here in this little town in North Carolina.
Wow, I know nothing about the making of Home Alone. That's amazing.
It's on The Movies That Made Us on Netflix.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I guess I haven't seen that episode.
It's a good episode.
God damn. Okay. Anyway. Yes. So, yes. All that to say that, they, instead of shooting in the middle of the woods in the coldest winter Georgia had ever seen.
Something like that, yeah. No, this one was hot. Yeah. Oh, the first one was the coldest.
Yes.
This one, it was hot.
But they shot in a gymnasium. They built the interior of the cabin inside of a gym.
They did build an exterior. They did have, like, out in the woods, they built the cabin.
Which looks amazing. I think like the first one is a real cabin. It's just a piece of shit. This one, because they were able to build it, I feel like it has personality. It just really works.
Yeah, and it matches the miniature really well. You know, they built both.
Exactly.
There's a lot of miniature shots in this one.
Yeah. It makes my heart happy.
Oh yeah, I mean this whole movie is just a wall-to-wall practical effects lover's dream.
It really is. It really is. But let's get into it. Let's talk about how the movie goes. So, we get the Rosebud Releasing Corporation, and then we launch right into to the prologue. And we get a little bit of a voiceover intro. It's John Beeks as Professor Noby telling us about the origins of the Necronomicon. So it's very cool. We get this billowing mist over black, and then the stop motion book, the Necronomicon, flies into frame. And then the book kind of comes to life, and we fly into the book's mouth, and we see visions of kind of various evil spirits with a swirling back in the background. It's very cool. And we hear about how, like the book was written at the beginning of time by ancient beings or whatever, when the seas ran red with blood, and we see red waves washing in, and then that blood was used as ink to write the book and all this jazz, and then the book just vanished.
I think it was
being written.
Yeah. Well, I think it was the dude. They had a lot more effects guys on this one, but the dude who did most of it for the first one, I think, did the book in the beginning, the stop motion, and he built like an animatable book that he then drew, like stop motion animated drawing. Yeah, you hand
is
drew all
awesome.
that stuff a little bit at a time, taking pictures in between. And then as it got to the later pages and it goes faster and faster, he had them pre-drawn and he was like attached, like gluing them in there in order. Like it was really a neat process to get that book to look as good as it did.
And it looks fucking cool. And then as the book slams shut, we hear that the book disappeared around 1300. And then the title is formed out of animated mist. And the background becomes the dark of a tunnel, and then we see the tiny light at the end of the tunnel, and this is our opening shot of the Delta 8 cruising through the tunnel as Ash drives.
Yeah. Hey, you're still like you're real pixelated.
Oh, that's weird.
You're super pixelated, and you keep your audio keeps just kind of like hiccuping.
Ah, weird. I don't know what to do.
There, now you're in HD.
Now I'm in HD. Anyway, so yeah, we see Ash driving through the tunnel in the Delta 8. Is it Delta 8? Am I getting that right? The car?
It was 88. Is it
Delta
8 or 88?
I'm sorry, 88. It can't be 88. The movie came out in 87. No.
Look it up.
Oh, no, I started a thing. No, it's Sam Raimi's Good Luck Charm. This dumb fucking yellow car that appears in every Sam Raimi movie. Yep. And I think it stopped driving sometime after the making of the first movie, so I don't know how it shows up in this one. But it's
it's the Oldsmobile Delta 88. It doesn't have to do with the year. It's just
the model number. That's weird. But anyway, we see driving through the tunnel and everything, and we get like part 2 of the prologue, which is Ash's story, essentially a speed run of Evil Dead 1. We see him Ash up to the cabin but this time it's just with his girlfriend Linda. And they cross the bridge, which is a wonderful miniature. And at the cabin, Ash plays
matte painting.
Yes. Oh God, it's gorgeous. At the cabin, Ash plays piano and Linda dances ballet in like a shirt and underwear. And then they kiss, but they go to kiss, and Linda gets jabbed by the magnifying glass necklace that Ash has given her. We're still working that into the goddamn story.
Yeah, it was in the first one. It's got to be in this one. And Bruce Campbell said that some people just think that Ash was dumb enough to go back to this place.
And with a second girlfriend also named Linda.
Hey, you try again.
He was possessed at the ending of the first one. Maybe he just didn't remember. Ash goes to get some champagne, and that's when he finds the reel-to-reel just sitting on a desk. And there's dialogue in here where they make mention of the fact that like they didn't rent this place. This isn't like they own it or anything like that. They are squatting.
Yeah. Like Linda's worried that the owners are going to show up, and he's like, we'll just say the car broke down.
It's fine. Let's get hammered and screw in these strangers' house.
Yeah.
So he finds the reel. Like you do. He finds the reel-to-reel, and there's a recording on it from a Professor Raymond Newby, which is the guy that owns the house, the cabin. And he was there with his wife translating the book, which I believe on the reel-to-reel he still calls what he called it in the first movie, not Ad Necronomicus Mortis, but Sugar Bears. It has a different name in the first movie.
I don't remember, but it's one of my favorite, it's one of my favorite gags is where he explains what the passages will do, and then immediately goes, contained here are the phonetic pronunciation of these things. It's like, if you say these things, the dead come back and kill everyone. Here's what it says.
Right. Like, and look, what reason would he have to speak the Kandarian transliteration aloud? Like, there's no reason to do that other than to flaunt the fact that you're capable of doing so.
Yeah.
But to whom?
Just the recorder. His wife was unimpressed, and he had to do something to make himself feel good.
So yeah, on the tape, Nobi recites the passages about bringing the evil back to the world, and we get the shaky cam. Woohoo! It's back in the woods, rushing in, and it crashes through the window and takes Linda. Upon hearing the window break and Linda scream, Ash goes running to find her gone, and then runs outside, only to be immediately attacked by Linda, who is now a Deadite. Which we keep using the word. We used the word Deadite in the first when we covered the first one 1 year ago. We're gonna keep using it because that's the best term for it.
Even though it isn't spoken until the very end of this movie.
Yeah. I don't even know if it was spoken in the end of this one. I mean, I know
It
it was
is.
in, is it? Oh, okay.
It is when
It's
he
very
travels
ambiguous,
through
really.
time, they call
That's
him
right.
a Deadite.
That's right. So we're going to continue to call it that.
Yes.
He ends up on his back as he tries to retreat from the advancing Linda, and then by luck or design, he gets a swing in with that axe and decapitates her. He then buries her, driving a cross into the ground, which is again like the image of Ash driving that cross in the ground is repeated throughout the trilogy.
Yeah, but again, this is also, I mean, this is not normal behavior. Obviously, it's not normal for your girlfriend to get possessed by a Kandarian demon.
Nope.
But again, he doesn't hesitate. When she jumps at him, he chops her damn head off. But then he also immediately buries her. There's no get the authorities.
Yeah. And it's not bury her because, oh God, I have to cover up this horrible crime I've done. He marks the grave with a cross.
Yeah, he lays her to rest.
Yes, it's very intentional. But he keeps the necklace, the magnifying glass necklace to remember her by.
Yes.
It's just sort of, again, it's Ashley becoming Ash.
Uh-huh.
Then we get the ending of the first movie, pretty much. With the shaky cam racing through the house,
Yeah.
to end up slamming through the front door and getting Ash.
Mhm.
We then get Ash being like sped through the woods, spinning around upside down and being tortured by the evil.
And I guess shooting that was hilarious because, they screwed with the frame rate, but basically Bruce Campbell is like strapped onto the end of this rig that's rotating him.
Yes.
And it's rotating him slowly, and all of the people working on the movie were just holding tree branches, and they just walk by him and hit him with them, and then go to the end of the line to come back through. So you just had these people just walking in circles as he's being spun slowly on the end of this thing. That then in post they speed up, and it looks like this, but... Can you imagine, go on a hike, walking out of the tree line and seeing?
All I needed to do was chant a song, and it would be a scene straight out of Wicker Man. It's just some kind of weird ritual.
It's a slowly rotating man being gently beaten with tree branches.
And again, though, it does go to that whole thing with Ash, where it's like the evil wants to kill other people. The evil really wants to beat the shit out of Ash.
Yeah.
Well,
and possess him. It wants in.
That's when they go for the possession. I don't think that they necessarily do that so much afterwards. Well, I guess you do get evil Ash at the end in the third one.
Yeah.
So that's kind of. But so after being flung out in the woods, Ash awakens as a Deadite, so he has a few moments of kind of being evil or whatever, and then the sun rises and the fog clears from his eyes, and he's back to himself again.
Yeah.
And he just collapses in a puddle, exhausted.
For the whole day. He's...
Pretty much, yeah, he pretty much misses the entire day. But he's been up all night, so that's understandable. And he just got the shit kicked out of him. Ash awakens and looks at the cabin, and the skull-like face of it kind of glowers at him. Eyes kind of fade in, and it's
like a superimposed
thing. And hear a voice say, "Join us." Ash then gets his ass in his car and tries to run. But he's stopped by the bridge being destroyed, the metal beams curled back to form a kind of skeletal hand.
Yeah.
It's very cool. He then notices that the sun is setting very rapidly and very large directly behind him. It's a very
it's stylized.
It's stylized, yes.
Yeah.
It's a very kind of 20s, 30s kind of stylized shot. It's a gorgeous shot, and it does communicate that kind of stylized intention of overly theatrical presentation. And but the sun is setting, he's in the woods, he needs to get back to the cabin. He needs some kind of sanctuary. He tries to drive. The tree kind of jumps in front of the car and crashes it. He ends up going through the windshield. He ends up having to run to the cabin with a shaky cam hot on his tail. It's awesome because he keeps trying to close doors and stuff behind him.
And the cabin is a labyrinth.
It is. It's got 2 bedrooms and a bathroom and a lot of interconnected rooms with doors.
Yeah, and just space behind the walls for like pipes and stuff. Like
yes, at one point he runs into the walls, and it's actually kind of like it's a lot of space. It's something like 18 inches of clearance. And
on the outside, this thing is like 20 foot by 20 foot.
Right.
It's a TARDIS, goddammit. On the inside, it is much bigger.
It is. And then eventually, like the thing is like splintering doors in front of it and stuff. And eventually Ash gives it the slip in the living room. Like kind of like he disappears in the living room. The camera follows him in and kind of does a moment of like turning around, looking everywhere, doesn't find him. And then when that happens, it retreats out of the house and back into the woods to kind of just bide its time. And that's when Ash like shakily emerges from under the trap door into the cellar. So then we cut away from that, which is crazy, to the other characters in the story. We see Annie Nobi, which is the Professor Nobi's daughter. She's getting picked up at the airport by her boyfriend, Ed. And she has the missing pages from the Necronomicon with her. And Ed kind of marvels at how well preserved they are because of the evil, Chris.
Yes. And the evil will sustain the
exactly
linen or whatever skin it was made.
Skin and blood.
Also, she has them in a nice little shadow box. They're in like a
really nice. Well, like it looks good. So they're gonna head to her father's cabin. He can't, and he makes mention of the fact like he can't call ahead, check on her father, let them know he's coming because there's no phone at the cabin. But because of course it is a shack in the woods. Cut back to Ash. He is resting in a chair when he is startled by the piano playing itself out of nowhere. And it's the song he played while Linda danced. And he kind of pulls out the necklace to look at it as he mourns her. It's part of the melodrama of Ash. Like, not only did he murder her and then bury her without ceremony out in the woods, he also like deeply feels the loss of her, but only when it's time to do so. Then boards over one of the windows to the cabin just sort of like hit the ground, and it kind of startles him. And he goes to check it out, and looking out the window, he sees Linda's headless corpse emerge from the grave, and then her head comes up after it. And she dances around, this time using her head kind of as a dance accessory. It's very fun. It's a wonderful stop motion animated section where the head is kind of pristine, but the body is this like withered corpse.
Yeah.
And it ends with her kind of like leaping into the air, and she just sort of like fades out as she leaps. She just sort of vanishes. And then she reappears like right on the other side of the window, right in front of Ash's face. And then she grabs him and starts slamming him into the window. Again, just beat the shit out of him.
Beat the living shit out of Ash.
Absolutely. Before he can extricate himself, he watches her head slowly just fall wetly off of her rotted stump of a neck. And Ash,
as Ash says in Ash vs. Evil Dead, one of my favorite lines, I can't even get my nut up to rumble until I've been popped in the face. Gotta get hit to wake him up for the fight, you know?
That's what that means. Ash screams himself awake, and it turns out he is back in the chair he started in. The boards are still on the window. And as he kind of contemplates, like, did that actually happen? Was that just a fucked up dream? Linda's severed head just drops directly into his lap out of nowhere. It then bites his hand, like just sinks these sharp
and holds on
into the web between his forefinger and thumb. And he cannot get it off. There's a great sequence of him just trying to bash the head against anything and everything in the cabin, trying desperately to get her off. It's very what's the word I'm looking for? Very
slapstick.
Slapstick. Thank you. Very Three Stooges.
Well, in the documentary on the special features,
yes,
one of the guys said that he had been told about Sam Raimi that the secret to working with Sam Raimi is understanding that he's always trying to make a Three Stooges movie.
It's true. So eventually he flashes on the tool shed. So he goes out to the tool shed and he clamps her neck into a vice.
Yeah.
Just to get her off his goddamned hand. And he reaches up to grab the chainsaw. Again, this is his, like, it's not about, like, getting himself free or anything. There's a moment of, like, oh, you son of a bitch.
I'm gonna get you.
I'm gonna get you.
I also love the way Ash just, like, says the word of the thing he's gonna do. Like, he gets her clamped in, he just goes, chainsaw.
Later
on, he's just gonna go, tool shed.
Yeah.
They're gonna go out there and get
It's
rigged up.
fantastic. So he reaches for he reaches up for the chainsaw, and there's a giant like chalked outline of where the chainsaw should be, and nothing there. When he sees that, suddenly here comes Linda's rotted corpse through the door at him, holding like revving the chainsaw.
A rubber chainsaw with a blade that just keeps flopping back and forth.
The body doesn't have a great deal of articulation. It's just sort of like
Yeah, it's just
Been going
somebody's just
back and
down there
forth.
holding a stick. Like
it's fine. It's
it's
silly.
all right. It gets the
And
job done.
It's
It's
silly.
also, I think, the first time you see Freddy's glove. It's hanging above the door.
Yes. So deflecting it with a, I believe it's a crowbar, Ash manages to get the thing to chainsaw itself. Massive gouts of blood shooting out of it that even coat the bulb in the tool shed, so everything turns this filtered red.
Yeah.
And then Ash reclaims the chainsaw from the broken body and cuts up Linda's protesting head. It's terrific. Ash then goes back to the cabin where he grabs the shotgun, which has become double-barreled for the sequel, reloading and grabbing extra rounds. He then hears the noise of the rocking chair rocking on its own. As he goes in the living room, he sees the rocking chair just sort of moving on its own. And it's a wonderful moment. We we're rapidly switching tones because this becomes suddenly very tense. Like all the sound drops out, and just that groaning of the rocking chair and everything as he slowly reaches towards it. He kind of puts the gun down and reaches his hand towards it, and just before he's about to touch it, it stops on its own.
Well, I always took that to be that there's something in it that's invisible. He stopped it.
I mean, that's a possibility.
Like that's him touching the front of whatever's sitting there.
Mm-hmm. That's a possibility. Unnerved by the whole thing, though, Ash goes to the mirror where he tries to reassure his reflection that everything is okay, which prompts his reflection, with somewhat exaggerated features, to emerge from the mirror and grab him and tell him it's not okay. He just chopped your friend up and buried her in the woods. Mirror Ash then begins to choke Real Ash. As Real Ash pulls away, he realizes it's his own hands around his throat.
Yeah.
He then goes to inspect the mirror, but it's just a mirror again. And again, rapidly switching tones here, he tries to catch the mirror on the way.
Juking back and forth real quick, like
it's normal. It's at this point that Linda's bite on his hand starts radiating out evil, much like Linda's leg wound did in the first film. It's
where they
stop motion evil.
Drawing on the black lines taking over his hand.
Yes, and then his hand becomes possessed and begins to attack him.
Yeah. Once it's fully possessed, it's gnarly with like gross nails.
Yeah, it's totally monstrous, and Ash screams to the heavens to give him back his hand. Meanwhile, Annie and Ed have made it to the bridge and are told by the redneck Jake and his girlfriend Bobby Joe that the bridge is out of commission, which indeed it very much so is. And there's some weird degree of tension between like kind of country folks versus academic elites in the scene.
You think you're better than us kind of thing.
Yes. And Bobby Joe tells them with a noted air of superiority that there is simply no other road to get to the cabin. And Jake, kind of trying to defuse the situation, tells them that there's a hiking trail. We can show you that for $100.
Yeah.
And Annie says, sure, as long as you carry my luggage, which he looks in the backseat of the car and just sees her little messenger bag or whatever. And he's like, yeah, that's no problem. And everyone has this self-satisfied smile of having tricked everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back in the cabin, Ash is running his possessed hand underwater.
That'll help. It's like a burn.
Right. Like that's what I always read it as is it's like cleaning a wound. You know, he's trying to do something. I read somewhere somebody suggested he was trying to drown it. Like
what happened?
Which to be fair, it doesn't have a mouth. You've frozen completely. Are you okay? Are you there?
Yeah, it never said it stopped recording. I paused it. No, wait, no, I didn't. We're still recording.
Okay, cool.
Hold on, let me.
Yeah, technology. Am I right?
Yeah. All right. Anyway, he's running water on it.
He
like
runs
it's burn.
Yeah.
Or like he's trying to clean a wound.
Yes. And to be fair, like it doesn't have a mouth or anything because it's a hand, but it also makes little noises. Like it has a voice.
Yeah.
It
has chittering, squeaking.
Yeah. Which is very fun. And as he kind of like leans against the sink, exhausted, the hand just sort of starts grabbing any kind of plates at hand and starts smashing them into his head.
This is the greatest scene of a person kicking their own ass ever
It
committed.
really
to film.
is. It's very convincing, and it's just Bruce Campbell doing what he do. They have a bunch of like breakable crockery for him to smash against his head. He makes good use of it. He punches himself in the stomach. At one point, he flips himself onto the ground, knocking himself out.
It's a full send. He commits.
Yeah, it's amazing. The hand then notices that he's out and then spots like a large meat cleaver across the room. And so it stops what it's doing and starts dragging itself by its fingernails. Well, dragging him by its fingernails, inching closer and closer to this knife. And at the last minute, Ash wakes up and stabs another knife through the palm of his hand into the floor, hitting it there.
And laughing at it.
And laughing at it and crying at the pain and laughing. He then uses a chainsaw to chop it off. Because he's not going to live with this shit. In the woods, Annie, Ed, Jake, and Bobby Joe are tromping through the dark with Jake bringing up the rear. He's got Annie's massive, like,
steamer trunk. Yeah.
On his back, complaining under his breath that he thought she meant the small bag.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Ash has an overturned trash can over the hand. I love this gag. He takes a stack of books to put it on top of the trash can, weight it in place. And the book on top is A Farewell to Arms. Yuck.
Yep.
It could never be any other book, even if it's stupid as hell, a stupid joke. That's the way it's got to be. It's great. He hears noises and to draw his attention away. And behind him, we see the trash can just sort of moving on its own as the hand just kind of nudges it along a little at a time before it goes off screen and we can hear it tip over. And then the hand escapes through a mouse hole into the walls. Ash tries to follow the scurrying sounds that it makes through the walls, shooting holes. And there's little gags of like the hand gets stuck in a mouse trap and he laughs at it uproariously. Yeah. Is that kind of like mean laugh you give when somebody you don't like stubs a toe?
Yeah. Supposedly, you remember Mr. Allen at AIP?
Oh, yes.
It was his company that did he had an animation company. Yeah. Well, no, they just this. Like, the stop motion was kind of spread out across a bunch of different dudes. Like, Tom Sullivan, I think, is the guy from the first movie that did the book, and he did a bunch of the stuff. Somebody else did the dancing, Linda, but specifically the hand and old lady Deadite's neck elongating.
Yes.
Those two shots specifically, but the hand running into the hole in the wall was his company. I remember him telling us about that.
Yeah. Because he would brag that he was the one that got to give Ash the finger. And his final shot of the hand in the wall seems to hit it as he hears
there's that trickle of blood.
The little trickle of blood comes out, and as he celebrates the destruction of his right hand, the trickle starts to grow and suddenly shoots out like a fire hydrant. And then such blood starts shooting out of every hole that he's made in the wall, kind of rocking him around the room before turning black. Then suddenly it stops, not just stops flowing, but like sucks back into the wall. Yes.
Yeah.
Leaving Ash kind of messed up and shaken. Ash kind of stumbles to a chair, and then he sits in the chair just shatters beneath him, like just completely falls apart, and he falls on his ass. And the deer head mounted on the wall turns to look at him and starts to laugh at him. Then like, a lamp starts laughing at, like soon the entire room is laughing at him, like kind of flapping and laughing.
That deer head,
yes,
that's the general aesthetic that I wanted from the boar in Send Help.
Yes.
We didn't talk about this on camera at any point, but Send Help is the most recent Sam Raimi movie. It's the first like sort of original property that he's, because I think the last thing he did was Doctor Strange or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he's on tour. He has a very distinct visual style.
Yeah,
and the one thing I didn't like about that movie was the reliance on CGI, and it just didn't, like, all I wanted from that boar attack was for it to look like this, or like the goat in Drag Me to Hell.
Yes. Well, and it's the deer is interesting because it when it's normal, it's just a normal deer head on the wall. When it's a puppet and it starts to laugh at Ash, it has this kind of demon deer face.
Well, yeah, it's got sort of the
possessed
deadite
eyes and
proportions.
The features, yes.
Yeah.
But anyway, everything is the entire house is kind of laughing at Ash, and pretty soon Ash kind of just flips and starts laughing himself, hysterically. There's a weird moment where he kind of like laughs with the one lamp, and they kind of make each other laugh, until eventually he starts to get a little hysterical, and he starts to kind of lose his shit. And then suddenly there's a noise at the door. All laughter ceases. Everything stops. Ash immediately pulls up the shotgun and fires at the door twice. And there's a moment of silence, and then Jake and Ed come and rush in and tackle Ash. They end up beating the shit out of Ash. I think he ends up getting knocked out. Annie comes in with Bobby Joe, who got shot in the arm by Ash.
It's barely grazed her.
Yeah, she's fine. Annie kind of sees like blood and a chainsaw and assumes that Ash murdered her family.
Yeah.
Because her dad's not there. So they kind of throw the weakly protesting Ash down the trapdoor into the cellar, and then they lock him up down there. There's this kind of system that they used in the first Evil Dead, where there's a chain that then they lock into position. It's kind of long enough that you can kind of poke up and get a couple inches of clearance.
Yeah, you gotta be able to get your face in there to say shit.
Yeah. The four then, they end up playing the reel-to-reel some more, and we get more of Professor Nobi telling how, reading the Kandarian incantation aloud has summoned the evil spirits of nature. They have possessed Henrietta, his wife, and he was forced to kill her. But he could not bring himself to dismember her. Instead, he buried her in the cellar.
And we see Ash just laying on the steps right under the door listening to this.
Henrietta emerges from the grave to attack Ash, and Ash is pleading with them to just let him up. Everybody kind of wavers back and forth and eventually decides to help Ash. And it's very last minute. It's very difficult. They end up getting him.
And it takes him forever to get that lock open.
Yeah, well, Ash is like rattling the door and stuff. It's a great little scene. But eventually they get Ash up, and then they go to close the door, and Henrietta sticks her face and it turns demonic. And they kind of slam the door on her face to the point one of her eyes pops out of her head, flies across the room into Bobby Joe's mouth, and then wriggles down into her stomach.
Oh,
it's nasty and bizarre. Henrietta then tries to trick Annie into letting her up, appearing as normal Henrietta, like living Henrietta, and telling her facts about, giving birth to her and all this jazz. And Ash but Ash remains strong. Like, that's not your mom anymore. This is when Ed turns around to reveal that he has been possessed. Waha, you didn't know.
Yeah.
He begins to levitate. His face just like morphs interestingly. He has this kind of giant mouth.
Yeah.
And then he floats across the room to Bobby Joe, where he kind of like bites a lock of her hair out and
then just like sort of inhales it. Yeah.
Oh, it's gross. He then, we get the whole "we are the things that were and shall be again" speech, and they begin to chant "Dead by Dawn," him and Henrietta in the basement. Fine, and like they attack. Jake ends up getting smashed into the overhead bulb. Like, they just sort of grab Jake by his arms and ram him into the bulb overhead.
Yeah.
Ash goes to run. Ash runs out of the room, and Annie calls after him, calling him a coward. But Ash has just gone to get a weapon, and he comes back in with a goddamned axe, and he hacks up Ed.
One-handed,
who sprays green slime for blood at him. So things calm down a bit, and Jake, looking out the window, comments that the trail they took to get to the cabin is gone, just swallowed up by the woods. It's like it was never there. The night starts to go deadly quiet. Even the clock on the wall's freezing in place. We then get this really fun sequence where like the four remaining people kind of huddle together, and they just hear noises,
and they're looking.
And they're looking to follow the noises. And then just sort of like random creepy sound effects.
Yeah.
screeching metal, squeals, a locomotive. I think there's a marching band at one point.
Yeah, and a lot of creaks and groans like the building is under stress.
Yeah. Eventually it leads them to the bedroom where they ask, what was all that noise?
Well, yeah, because the bedroom door like opens.
Yes. It like clicks and opens and they, what was that noise? And Annie says maybe it was something trying to force its way into our world.
Yeah, the door opens and then Bobby Joe is like, it's in there.
And when they go in, they see the ghostly face of Professor Nobi kind of appears in front of them to give Annie instructions of just where the hell we're supposed to go with this plot. That there's a passage in the pages she brought with her. Like there's two parts to it. The incantation. The first part will make the evil manifest itself physically in the world, and the second part will open a portal that will draw it out of our world forever. Before he vanishes away. Bobby Joe then complains that Jake is holding her hand too tightly, which is when she discovers that it is in fact Ash's severed hand holding her hand. She screams and knocks over the only light source in the room. They all kind of run off into the trees. And
she does. Do they all run outside?
I think they all end up outside, or maybe she just does. Yeah, you're probably right.
I don't think they will all go outside later, but right now when the light comes back on, she's just missing, and old boy's losing his shit about it.
Yeah, she gets killed by the trees. So Ash and Annie are going through the pages. Well, Annie's going through the pages while Ash hovers over her. And they find an image of the hero from the sky, apparently drawn in 1300, who is said to have defeated the Deadites in that time. And Ash observes that he seems like an idiot.
Yeah.
It's
that an asshole in the blue shirt with the what looks like a shotgun and a chainsaw.
I wonder where this is going. Jake interrupts them, threatening them with a shotgun, telling them that they have to go out and search for Bobby Joe.
That's it. That's how they end up outside.
And he tells them that, screw your goddamn pages, and grabs the pages that they're staring at and throws them down into the cellar and tells them, now you have to come with me. Out in the woods, they're kind of just like starting to wander out in the woods, and Ash and Annie are trying to not go into the woods. And Jake kind of starts wandering off on his own, calling for Bobby Joe. The shaky cam shows up and charges at them.
Like at this point, Ash and Annie have both witnessed the gruesome death of their significant other.
True.
And it's like, hey, dude, it's your turn, Oh, yeah. Yeah, actually.
But the shaky cam comes for them, and it gets Ash, and Ash gets possessed again. He gets repossessed.
He
tosses Jake into a tree, and Annie runs back to the cabin, where she grabs the Kandarian dagger to protect herself. When somebody tries to get in the door, she kind of stabs him immediately, and it turns out that it was Jake. And she just stuck his poor ass, who is not dead, just in a lot of pain. But she then has to kind of move Jake out of the way because he's blocking the doorway. She can't get the door closed, and here comes possessed Ash. She eventually gets him out of the way, shuts the door. Ash pounds at the door, but eventually goes away. So then Annie goes and pulls the dagger out of Jake and starts to pull him further into the room. She ends up kind of just pulling him closer to the trap door, which Henrietta just reaches out and grabs him and just rips him down to the cellar.
And it just explodes blood out of it.
And he just gets like a face full of
and
Jake's
I guess
blood.
Both Dan Hicks, who played Jake, and Bruce Campbell basically got waterboarded in this movie just from blood being like both of them at some point just had their face in like a fountain of blood.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ. Ash just sort of gets in and attacks Annie, ripping her necklace off. She's knocked unconscious, but the necklace reminds Ash of Linda and her magnifying glass necklace. He loves it so much that he becomes used to
Linda's magnifying glass necklace that he saw.
Oh, was it? That must have been
I thought she fell down and it was on the floor next to her.
Oh, okay. Yes. Sorry. I'm relying too much on IMDb. Yeah, but anyway, he finds the
I rely on watching the movie, Joe.
I watch 10 to 15% of the movies we cover. The rest is all Wikipedia.
Or just memory.
Anyway, he becomes human again, which is fantastic because Annie immediately attacks him with an axe.
Yeah.
And he kind of tries to calm her down and convince her that he's all right now, which she attacks him again with the axe because she just is gone. And he ends up
Can't be too careful at this point.
nearly threatening her, like, I'm okay. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So then they have to, their only hope is the pages that have been flung into the basement, and Ash is a man of action now. So he's going to go to that basement and get those goddamn pages. We get a sweet Raimi zoom close-up sequence as they gear up to go to the basement. Ash and her go to the tool shed, and Andy go to the tool shed and outfit Ash with a chainsaw hand.
Yep.
It is
It's
the
a cool
first
little
movie of the
montage.
series. Yes.
Well, yeah, because you get the chainsaw hand, like all the little mechanics of putting it on,
Mhm.
then the harness
Yes.
with the hook to
So
hook
you can
the
start it with,
ripcord
by
in to
hand,
start
yeah.
it. And then he uses it to saw off the shotgun.
Yes.
Yeah,
Real-
and this is a moment where she sees him
Yes.
in his
We're-
full glory and
Yes.
is impressed.
And we kind of all do.
Yeah.
Um,
Ash has become the man he was meant to be.
God damn it, right. So then Ash chainsaws open the cellar door and goes down. He finds pages scattered kind of all over, like a few of them at a time, kind of leading him deeper into the cellar until eventually Henrietta pops up, and she actually pops up behind him and goes after Annie out, in the back in the living room. Henrietta then Ash then comes back upstairs to take on Henrietta. Henrietta's face goes deadite again, and she grows the weird long elongated neck. And Ash is kind of having trouble fighting her until Annie distracts her by singing a lullaby that her mother used to sing to her. Ash then successfully decapitates Henrietta. Then it's a fantastic moment. He puts his boot on the decapitated head, which has been which is chanting, "I'll swallow your soul, I'll swallow your soul." Sticks the shotgun in its face and says, "Swallow this," and pulls the trigger. It's awesome. It is full Ash at this point. This is when the trees themselves start just attacking the cabin. Like this is it. It is the evil is coming for them. Threatening to tear the cabin apart. Annie begins to translate as fast as she can, reading the passages out that make the evil flesh. When she does that, the door bursts open and in comes this giant, hideous monster face. It's awesome looking.
It is. It's great.
It's got one giant snake eye. The other side of its face is the faces of the people that it's possessed.
Right. Yeah.
And it completely fills the cabin doorway. When it appears, the flowers spontaneously wilt, and a streak of gray emerges in Ash's hair. Just forms in his hair. And
the tree branches have become hands and grabbed him and are pulling him in.
He urges Annie not to turn around and look, to just keep reading the passages. The tree trunks are trying to grab Ash and feed him to the giant face. He responds by sticking it in the eye with the chainsaw. It's fantastic. Annie, she's reading the passage to the incantation to banish the evil, but is stopped when Ash's hand stabs her through the back with a Kandarian dagger. And with her dying breath, though, she manages to finish the incantation, which is when a whirling vortex, not dissimilar to the one in Monster Squad, begins to suck everything into itself, including Ash's car and trees. The evil is sucked into the vortex, and Ash is saved, and Ash has a moment in the cabin with Annie's corpse before the vortex just keeps sucking. And he ends up...
the door flies off.
He stops himself in the doorway and yells out, "How do you turn it off?" before he himself is pulled into it. He falls through space and time, through a strange mystical portal, and lands in a strange land under a strange sun. He's then quickly surrounded by men in medieval armor riding horseback, who are immediately suspicious of him. And they start to, interrogate him and threaten him and such.
Yeah, well, the Merlin dude, whatever.
Yeah.
One dude there that isn't in armor says he's a deadite and tells him to kill him.
Right. Suddenly
burn him or something.
Yeah, suddenly a flying demon swoops out of the air. And as the knights go diving for cover, Ash calmly pulls out his shotgun and blows it the fuck away. It's that moment that the knights cautiously approach him and begin cheering for their new savior.
Yep. Well, and the one that says he's the one of prophecy or whatever, that's Sam Raimi. The one that opens his visor and declares him the hero that will save them all.
It's the hero from the sky. And we see Ash in the place of the hero from the sky illustration that was from the book. The chance for a new savior abruptly bring us to the end credits. And that
Yep.
is Evil Dead 2.
Ash is screaming no. He doesn't want to be the savior.
Yeah, no, he is very upset by the entire thing. He's very, very not happy. It is honestly a perfect end to a perfect movie.
It's so good.
I've said it before, Evil Dead 2 is like one of the greatest horror movies of all time.
I think so.
I don't think it gets much better.
And it's such a weird thing because it does have like 70% of the DNA of the first one.
Sure.
But more refined, and it was a much more, the first one was famously a nightmare to make. Like it was, they didn't know what they were doing so much. They were making it up as they went along. It was freezing cold. They had no money. Like it just was a torturous shoot. And then this one was not easy because it never is, but they were more established. They had more money. They had better locations, better budget for effects, real effects people that were experienced. Like at this point, Tom Sullivan, I think, had gotten a lot more experience, but he was what they had in the first one, and he did amazing things, but they were able to hire.
It's definitely you can definitely tell that it's more there's a greater polish on the special effects and stuff. Like the makeup effects are really well done,
and the lighting and the cinematography. I mean, it's all got that Raimi vibe to it, but it's more expensive
but it's also like it's a really good script. It is, I think, slightly better than the first one because it has the advantage that the first one doesn't have, where it doesn't have to lay nearly as much groundwork. It kind of can do that thing in the first 15 minutes where it just speed runs the highlights of the first film and then gets right into the action for the second one.
I love the first one, but I've always liked this one better.
Yeah.
I like that this is where we get real Ash. I like that the first half of the movie is just Ash dealing with stuff.
Yes.
Like you get all of that alone time of him kind of losing his shit and then coming back to it. And, like he's fully lost his shit at the point where they show up to the cabin and he shoots through the door.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a half second away from just
he is broken. Yes.
His mind.
He is broken. No, it's a perfect movie. I would even say I would go as far as to say that you don't need to see the original Evil Dead in order to watch Evil Dead 2.
No.
I think in terms of like a horror education, it's important to see both of them. But for somebody who's just watching casually, and that's the other thing too, is that Evil Dead 2 has a more mass appeal than the Evil Dead 1 does.
It does.
Like definitely more people can watch it and enjoy it because it's not just a gore fest. It's not just scares. It's very funny.
Yeah.
There's those neck breaking turns from suspense to comedy.
Right.
Do a fantastic job of mitigating the impact of the horror, as well as keeping the audience engaged.
Right.
It's just really, really fucking perfect. No notes. And the script runs very quickly, very fast. It's very well paced, which is something that it shares with the first one. The first one has a tremendous pace.
There isn't a dull moment in either movie.
No, absolutely.
But yeah, this one was made to stand on its own. It functions,
and it does
either way.
Yeah, absolutely. Evil Dead 2, great movie.
Yeah. So good.
Shall we talk
sequelitis?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is
difficult. It's hard.
I know it's hard, especially with this because, going from Evil Dead 1 to Evil Dead 2, Evil Dead 2 is Evil Dead 1, the next chapter. It's hard to even say it's not quite a sequel. It really is like a requel in a lot of ways. Evil Dead to Army of Darkness is
direct sequel. Yeah.
And so beloved and so perfect that I too struggled with ideas for this.
Well,
but I did come up with something.
It's the first one sets up the sequel with him being in medieval times.
Yes.
So you have to do something with that.
Indeed.
Unless you're going to pull the "it was all a dream" bullshit.
What did you get? You go first.
My only real thought was because Army of Darkness changes tone dramatically.
Yeah,
it still has the feeling of the Evil Dead stuff, but this is an adventure movie more. Yes.
Yes.
It's a medieval adventure movie with an evil force on the other side.
Well, like we said, once Ash becomes Ash, horror is contingent on threat, and there's not as much of a threat for him. He's capable.
Yeah, he is. But I think that what I would do if I had to do something different under the
Mhm.
conditions that he's in medieval times,
Right.
would really just be more of the Evil Dead type of stuff instead of it. I'd basically take away the adventuring aspect. I'd take away the journey to the Necronomicon and all of that.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I would turn it in. I would keep the siege aspect that's at the end, but I think basically he'd get back to the castle, and there would be something where like the wizard guy was probably fucking around with shit he shouldn't have been,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and they think the enemy is on the outside, but he's actually been doing these dark magics in the castle,
Right.
and the evil force is already in there and starting to affect things. And so instead of it all being in this cabin, you've got a whole castle to
whole
play with.
castle to yeah.
And, you know, you still get to do the fun shit of him calling everybody primitive screwheads.
Yes.
You get the, you know, magic of the boomstick. It's hard for me not to want him to get his robot hand. You know what? I would just make Army of Darkness, I think.
That's the thing. Is, Army of Darkness is a pretty perfect sequel to it. I struggled
Well,
with it too.
and Army of Darkness was the first Evil Dead movie I ever saw.
Well, there you go.
My introduction to the whole series was the third movie, and
So come up with a better idea, Chris.
I can't do
You
it.
can't. You can't. I do.
My love of Evil Dead started with the sequel to Evil Dead 2. And other than just making it more of a haunted house movie in a castle
Yes.
and less of a going on a quest thing
Sure.
with
Sure.
with a siege at the end from the outside, I
Yeah.
would pretty much just turn that inside out and have it all happen in the castle to keep that single location feel, but in a bigger location with a lot more characters.
The
And you
slow
would end
build
up
to chaos. Yeah.
Yeah, but you could also end up with a horde of Deadites because there's a lot more people to turn.
Right.
So it can turn
No.
into even like this wild, like horde of zombies kind of movie thing inside the
do.
castle.
I do like that idea. I have a very different direction for you.
All right.
Evil Dead 3, Ash Goes to Hell.
Okay.
So we pick up where the second one left off, of course. Ash has fallen through a portal and you know, the knights kind of surround him, and then they take him to their camp. And it turns out that he is not in the past. He is not in the future. He is in a void outside of time where evil is sent. And it's kind of it's a void outside of the universe where the book curses everyone who's been tainted by evil to end up. So because that's why it sucked him in, was because he had been possessed before. So the evil kind of resides within him. So what's up still? But like he would see, you know, people from different, like warriors from all different eras, including the future there. And it turns out that space functions, as a funnel to lead into hell, because the only way out of it is to travel through hell and end up on the other side. So there's just this kind of giant hell mouth there
That
like,
he's going to have to dive into
yeah.
and fight his way through.
yeah. Each of the knights have been possessed the way that he was in their own time. And they got out of it they were able to control it by thinking of loved ones that they had lost. And we learned the purpose of the void is to funnel evil back to hell. Yabos, yabos, yabos. The void itself is kind of just a desolate plain with this massive hell mouth, like a festering wound in the landscape. But by passing through hell, you can have a hope of emerging back on Earth. Ash decides to take that chance, as any innocent souls consumed by the Deadites when they possess people end up being dragged to hell, like the Deadites say. And he hopes to rescue Linda's soul, which is then trapped in hell. So there's your motivation. So then we follow him as he journeys through the abyssal plane. And we would get little bits of him, like, you know, like dealing with demons, and some of them he would have to fight, but some of them would want to make a deal or something, and he would have to figure out who to trust and who to not trust. Eventually rescuing his lady love before he has a showdown. I've wanted this for a long time. He has a showdown with his own goddamn right hand, which is now giant in hell. It's this giant monster right hand, and when he defeats it, he can get his goddamn hand back.
Nice.
So he emerges back onto Earth with Linda, but now it's a new post-apocalyptic hellscape because the evil from the book didn't have anybody to stop it. Like, the evil was drawn into the void, but the book wasn't. Somebody else found the book, unleashed the evil, and now the world has been consumed by it. And so now, guess who's going to have to stop it? In Evil Dead 4, Hell on Earth.
Nice.
Boom.
I love it.
That's where I went.
I've got to watch Army of Darkness and then watch all of Ash versus Evil Dead again.
I'm telling you, dude, Army of Darkness is so much fun.
I know.
Oh God. Yes, and Ash versus Evil Dead. I need to watch.
And
that.
I need to read Ash versus Freddy versus Jason.
I'm sure it's somewhere out on the web.
No, I have it. I have it. I just haven't
shit,
read
okay.
it. Yeah.
Oh damn! Well, you have no excuse.
Yeah, no, I forgot I got it. I saw an opportunity. I saw it someplace.
Sure.
There was a little place that was a very, very short-lived comic shop in my hometown. And they had it, and I bought it cheap, but I didn't read it then, and it just ended up in a box until we got back from Germany. I discovered it again, but I haven't read it.
I know how that is.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I've got it, and I want to read it because I need my knowledge to be complete.
Damn straight. Oh my gosh, that has been Ash versus Ash. That's
Evil Dead 2.
That was Evil Dead 2. Dead by Dawn.
Yeah.
Oh, what fun we had.
What fun. Yeah, and this has been the first episode of our second year doing this.
Fantastic. What are we doing next, Chris?
Well, Joe, let me tell you. Next, we are doing House of Wax.
Yes!
Vincent Price classic.
You know, I love House of Wax.
I bought a DVD of it, and then I realized after it got here that I had I have a cluster of these like multi-movie packs.
Yes.
And it's in one of those. I could have just watched that.
Yeah, I think I have an edition of it that has remember 3D Blu-ray? I went in on 3D Blu-ray.
Yeah.
I don't recommend the experience.
No, see, but I remember you recommending the experience. I remember you going on and on about how great that first Blu-ray 3D TV thing was.
Joe, this is present Joe. That guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
Past Joe was wrong.
I mean, apparently, because nobody else bought them. But yeah, so I do have it on Blu-ray though. That's a good movie. It's fun.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
No, I'm looking forward to it. I haven't seen it since I was a kid watching AMC on Sundays. Like it was one of those, one of those oldies that would come on when they were running horror movies all day. And as
far as those like cheesy Vincent Price movies go, I think it's one that holds up the best because it has discernible plot line and everything. It really works.
Right.
But we'll talk about it more next time
on In the Veins. I've been Chris.
I'm a Joe. This has been
In the Veins. We'll see you then.
Ah!
There we go.
There is nothing to worry about. You're gonna be just fine.
You'd be surprised at the things you find when you go looking.
God, it knows I'm here.
Clear your mind. It knows what scares you. It has from the very beginning.
I'm plunging headfirst into some kind of black void of sheer, utter madness.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
It is entitled Naturan de Manto, roughly translated Book of the Dead.
You're gonna die up there.
We've got to return some videotapes.